Hello everyone, just a fun little video we're doing here about a hypothetical thing. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new and want to see more hockey content like this. And today we just got a quick little video talking about maybe, just possibly, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins playing each other again in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now I wouldn't normally expect this at this point of the year, but here we are with a little less than 20 games left in the season, and it looks like there's a potential Boston and Toronto, two original six teams that are hated longtime rivals, could play each other. I'm going to take a look at the standings here at the time of this video, and it looks like you'll see here in that 2 and 3 spot that we're going to see Toronto get to play Boston, and that poses a lot of questions here, mainly within these two teams. For Boston, we know it's a team that has got a lot of good pieces. They've been a very consistent team over the years. And, the time they've got some guys that are a little bit older, has their window closed, all that good stuff. Whereas Toronto, you've got a team that is very good, has been very good for a while now too, but hasn't been able to get out of the first round. And a big part of that has been Boston. Boston stood in their way early on before this playoff, talk about how the Leafs couldn't get out of the first round was a big thing. Boston was kind of right there to do it, because you think back, the first year the Leafs made the playoffs, I think it was that 2016-17 season, they lost to the Caps. Well, guess what? The Caps were really good. They were experienced. Everybody said, yeah, the Leafs probably shouldn't have won that. Next year, they play the Bruins. Guess what? Boston wins that series. The year after that, Boston wins the next series. So you've got this situation where this was in its infancy, where it said, okay, the Leafs weren't able to get past the Bruins, but they're going to keep building. So far, they've been able to get out of that first round since then as well, posing the next question about what will Toronto do if they face the Bruins and possibly even lose that series. It's a very curious thing, because that would be just another year where they can't get it done. And you look at Toronto's front office, they always say, oh, we're going to make some big changes, and if this doesn't work this year, it's getting blown up. I kind of liken it to this. If you've ever been at a friend's house that maybe their parents aren't as strict as your parents were, and it's always now if you do this again, I'm going to do this, and they never really do anything. It's kind of what I see Toronto's situation being. They have obviously made some moves, but I don't think that at this point, until it happens, they're going to trade one of the core four guys. But this is posing a really interesting question, because on paper, you look at Toronto, and this is a team that is very, very good. That top line is really good. You've got this blue line that's very impressive. But the big question is going to be the goaltending, whereas you have Boston, and I think that they've still got plenty of really, really good players, but you would say that maybe they don't have a guy that's on Matthews' level. But yeah, I think the big thing for them is they do have goaltending they could go to that is more reliable. They just traded for Lindholm. They got so many guys under, Bergeron, Marchand. They've got DeBrusk, who's been something, but Taylor Hall as well. And you've got Pasta, of course, Charlie Coyle. You've got Charlie McAvoy, Matt Grzelcyk. You've got Brendan Carlo. Ton of good guys. And then in net, they have obviously... who is it? It's a guy that came over from Buffalo. I'm blanking on his name right now. As well as their guy that came through the University of Maine that's done really well. I'm blanking on names right now, of course. But if I have to be honest, I haven't looked through all this stuff, but I have to be honest, I think I'm leaning mainly towards Boston just because I don't trust Toronto's goaltending. And while that blue line is pretty good, Toronto's goalies have been bad this year. They obviously let Mrazek go on waivers, so it's going to be a big thing. So, yeah, it's still early. Tampa Bay might be able to go in there and play into that matchup to where they would get to play one of these two teams. But from what we're seeing, we could be seeing yet another playoff matchup between these heated rivals. And I got to be honest, I'm saying this partially as a joke, but I partially think it's true as well. A potential thing is we could legitimately see rioting in Toronto if the Leafs were to lose yet another time in the first round. And guess who? It would be the Bruins for the third time in 6 years. Again, it's still kind of early, but obviously Ullmark is a guy in net for Boston that could pose a threat for them. Then you've got Swayman that could pose a problem there, and I'm just really curious to see how Toronto does, and if they can get past this goaltending issue as the playoffs approach and during the playoffs. And we'll have to see what happens here. Do you think these two teams will meet in the playoffs this postseason in the first round? Will it be farther? Let me know down below in the comments. And then also tell me who you think would win should they meet in the playoffs. Everybody make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Stay safe. Have a great night. Eagle of Hockey, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.